Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, you just believe, you just believe, you just believe, you just believe.
Yes, people, we're live, we're back, we've got our new stream. I said at the start of the week that it was the start of a massive week. The Manchester Derby is back, and we kind of got rid of the opposition fan views for a while. We used to do them for every game, but for a game of this magnitude, it's only right that we got on a Manchester United fan, and very kindly, my brother from the Big Six, Saeed TV, has come on to give a perspective. No, he's only got about half an hour, so we're going to go through kind of a United perspective. We're going to do a bit of combined 11, because I think now more than ever, or more than recent years, there's more conversations to be had about positions. There definitely is. I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to be objective as objective as possible, and we'll get into all that. But listen, Saeed, first of all, I know you're a busy man. You've done a lot of previews. How are you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited, you know what I mean? I feel like this is one of the derbies that I think for me, it's got a bit of edge to it, man. A few South American players have come into our team. You know what I mean? I think, you know what, man? South Americans, when they come into a team, they feel like they want it more. I feel like they've been in derbies and situations, Brazil, Argentina, you know, I feel like they want it more. So I feel like this is a nice, very, very, you know what I mean? It's got the edge to it. And I feel like for me, you know, Man City are coming in, like I said, unbeaten. United are coming in 4 wins on the bounce. They're coming in with a bit of confidence. We're not playing amazing football, but I think we're playing the football that Ten Hag wants. The difference there. I think the players are playing for the manager. City, Haaland, it's all mad. Like, it's, you know what? It's one of them. Like, I feel like people have disrespected the Manchester Derby, but they'll see it on Sunday why it's going to be back to what it was. I reckon 2000 and... There was a time when I thought it was neck and neck. United would beat City, we were beating you at your ground. It was neck and neck. I think it could get to that situation now where if United build a bit of momentum, get the patience on the Ten Hag, we could have a bit of competitiveness in this derby that it's lacked in recent times. You know what I mean? With City winning majority of trophies and whatnot. But yeah, man, looking forward to it, bro. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a bit nervous because of what you said. I think there is that more element of competitiveness to the game than there possibly has been previously. Like, I know you have turned us over at our own ground in recent years, but even before those games, I still felt we were streets ahead of you, and you guys just pulled off a madness. But when you say you're playing the football that Ten Hag wants, what do you mean by that? Because I just watched literally this afternoon Gary Neville's latest overlap with Paul Scholes, and he feels that United lost their kind of spine or their usual style of play that was most successful for them over the years when they went through Van Gaal, Mourinho and Oli, and now he feels Ten Hag is trying to bring it back to what was working the best. They're no longer kind of playing around the back, they're just playing what works for Man United. Could you explain that, or how you feel that's working? Because obviously he hasn't really got his own players either yet.
Yeah, he hasn't got majority of the players as well. What I think that I said in what Ten Hag wants is discipline, endeavour, motivation, the things that we've lacked with other managers. I think Ten Hag has looked at that. He came in the last game of the season against Crystal Palace and seen how bad we were off the ball. And he said, you know what? You guys have to be the hardest working team. You guys have to show commitment, have to show fight, run. I know it sounds simple, basic, but these are principles of what Ten Hag wants. He wants high pressing. He wants tenacity. He wants to win them second balls. He wants a meaner defense. And this is what he's getting now with these group of players. So for what Ten Hag wants in his football, don't get me wrong, there's an evolution to this, but in terms of what right now we're getting, I think for me, you know, the fans can see and buy into what we're doing, and it can only improve from this situation because we're seeing the basics, we're seeing us defending, wanting to do things that we never ever seen we could do before, and I think that's where I think it, you know, Ten Hag has been impressed by. Everything else, what Gary Neville's talking and alluded to, it will come there. It will come because it's, you know, you've got to, like Guardiola in his first season didn't have the amazing football. I think he just about came fourth or something or third. Yep. So, you know, things take time. So it's just inevitably things will have to, you know, get towards that. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on, I think. And you said there, you think if United are to get a result this weekend, it's going to be out of pure hunger, because I think, not being too disrespectful, you're not going to outplay us. You're not going to outclass us, because we're in a system that's working for us for a long, long time. We have players that have done it for a long, long time now. It's just going to come down to grit and determination. And that's something I think you possibly have lacked in the Manchester derby. Like if you throw it back to the 4-1 last year, you guys completely fell apart. You stopped playing halfway through the game when you felt like we were getting on top of you too much. Who are you looking towards this weekend to kind of drive the team, be that determined character? Obviously, a lot of talk about the new back four. You're more confident in Varane and Martinez. Will they be the kind of players you're looking at?
Yeah, we've got a leader in Martinez. We've got a leader in Varane now, in terms of he's started to kind of share the responsibility and take on the responsibility. Dalot's much improved this season. You've got, for me, Eriksen with that creativity. He's took that responsibility now. And then I'm looking for Bruno Fernandes to step up now in this game and take, because for me, in the top 6 games when he came in, he didn't really perform. His record against the top 6 game sides wasn't great. He was scoring against everyone else, but his record in the top 6 games wasn't great. I'm now looking to see if he can, get that feeling of, taking the game by the stroke of the neck and say, I'm going to take City, I'm going to take them on. So, and obviously the front three as well, like Sancho has to deliver. It's his time now to deliver. So there's different battles for what we need to do. But for me, it's all about unity and how we can play as a team. Because against City, you need to play as a team, man. It's so difficult to get the ball off them. It's so difficult to build transitions, build attacks. They suffocate you, Man City. And it's also holding the pressure. Can these guys hold their nerve? Because this is big moments to hold your nerve, to take on relentless. You see it with Real Madrid. You scored, they scored, you scored, they scored, but they never stopped believing in the whole game, and that's what United have got to do. They've got to have that mental state and that mental clarity. Say, you know what, we are not going to be defeated. We're not. It's as simple as that, and that's what I'm hoping for. That there's a lot of self-belief in this team.
I think it's one thing, talking about the manager having his own style of play and getting the right players and all that sort of thing. But the thing first and foremost that I want to see from any team of mine is that unity, is that belief that we can beat anybody, and that's just something that came over time with us. Like you said yourself, we just about scraped 4th in the first season of Pep Guardiola. But over the years, you could see the team become more and more confident in what we're doing and believing in what the manager wants. And then it just gets to a point, and you know this yourself from when you had the Alex Ferguson years and the successful years, that it gets to a point where the team can become just an unbeatable beast when they get into that mode, and they can do it consistently over a number of years. But obviously I have a huge amount of confidence in my team because the way we've been playing so far this year. I'm a firm believer that we've been playing at 50-60%, and that's something that has me a little bit worried going into Sunday, because I don't know what City's going to turn up. I don't know, are we going to play that the way we did against Villa and Newcastle, where we're sloppy in midfield and we're giving away possession? Because I do fear the likes of Rashford. I don't know how fit he is, and maybe Anthony. I think he could be a wild card. Rashford 50-50, is he?
Yeah, well, to be fair, he looks like he's a major doubt, but I'm just praying that it's one of them where, when you got a Manchester born lad that he will try his hardest to make the game no matter what. He'll play through pain, he'll play through the injections. It's one of them where, even at 80% fit Rashford, honestly, I would take it and then bring him off for Ronaldo halfway through the game, because he's so key right now in this development of Man United, of what we're trying to do on the break, on the transitions, 1v1s, overloads on the left-hand side. He's so key to what Ten Hag wants. And I feel like for me, it's a massive, massive opportunity for him to be part of this derby, be part of this, game and the magnitude of the game, because it's big. It's you're unbeaten, and we're on this kind of feeling of, is this a turn up? Is this kind of a point where United are moving into ascendancy? Or if they do get absolutely destroyed, like a 3-4-0, I'm going to be deflated. I can't lie to you, because I feel like for me, it just kind of undoes everything that we're kind of doing. You see what I mean, bro? Like, it's just one of them where you undo a lot of stuff. And that's where my kind of situation is with this, you know what I mean? So I just hope that Rashford can come in, and then we have a bit more balance, because I'm not going to lie to you, man. If I see Ronaldo up front, I think City will just love that, because they could just get the ball off him. I don't know if you watched him against Portugal, but it wasn't great, man. He kept losing the ball. He's getting on now. It's one of them, like, when you see Fernandinho, when you looked at him in that midfielder, you just knew his legs were gone. That's how we feel Ronaldo. He's got quality, don't get me wrong, but you have to get the ball to him, and he has to make his own chances. Can he do that? It's very difficult now at his age. 37 now, 38 in February. It's mad.
I think if Ten Hag has even half a brain or has watched City this season, he will know that Ronaldo is not the player to use against us. Like you'll find it's your young, energetic players, your determined players who get in our faces in midfield and put our back four under pressure. You know, a half-fit Kyle Walker on that left-hand side, I'd be worried about him. Whoever plays on the left for you should be really looking to put Walker under pressure. Then Akanji and Cancelo on the left-hand side. You know, I don't think Ronaldo's the man to put our back four under pressure. Do you think Rashford will play through the middle then?
Rashford played for the middle. We've got Antony on the right. And you've got Sancho on the left. I think that's what we've done for the Arsenal game. That was the last game we played. That worked out very good in terms of what we were trying to do. Antony scored a goal. The second half, we kind of we got Rashford in the middle, and then we kind of had the counter press, and we kind of got him behind. So it's one of them. It could work, you know what I mean? But I think the beauty of Ten Hag, he doesn't give you any sort of his questions are very, very his answers, to the journalist questions. I don't know if you watch his press conference, they're very, very limited in what he says. He doesn't give you a lot. He's very meticulous in what he says. I like that though, because it's like sometimes we're given too much information to pass, or we kind of know our game plan just from the image of the manager. It's so like it's a weird one, because we never ever kind of like, you know, we give a lot away, and we need to keep things in now. And I feel like that's what makes us maybe more better for this kind of game, because it's Guardiola thinking, how do they play? How does he reckon he'll take this tactical battle? Because Arteta lost a tactical battle to Ten Hag. Klopp lost a tactical battle to Ten Hag. You know, he's done well in his top 6 games, you know, Ten Hag. 2 wins out of 2. So can he make it 3? It's going to be interesting, man.
I will give him the credit. I wouldn't be as optimistic as you if I was a United fan in terms of the overall thing. But I'll give him credit. He's definitely rejuvenated the team. They look like they're all pulling in the right direction now for a change. But I think in the Arsenal game, yeah, he probably out-tactic Arteta, if you like, but they missed a fair share of chances, and I think it's going to be a level up this Sunday in terms of the game he played against Liverpool. They weren't firing on all cylinders. Arsenal, they didn't take their chances. So that kind of leads into my next point, which is, how do you feel about the whole Erling Haaland thing? The guy's absolutely on fire. We know he has the fire in the belly, the vengeance. There's the story about Martinez versus Haaland. There's Varane versus Haaland. There's a lot of storylines here, a lot of narratives. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I think it's a big story, man. I feel like he's gonna score, and then flipping the celebrate in the faces of what's it called, the manager. I just feel like that's what's gonna happen. I don't know what you guys think, but he's gonna celebrate in front of the players, and that's what's scary for me. You know what I mean? That he's gonna do that, and it's gonna be like, yo, and that's where I think, for me, that fear of his fuel. What he's kind of bringing to the game. He's going to bring a lot of fuel. He's going to bring a lot of fire. He's going to bring a lot of intensity. He's going to want it. He's going down the street in Manchester saying they love me here. So it's yeah, man. I can't lie to you. It's a scary one, isn't it? You feel me? But at the same time, we've got to do our thing, innit? We can't look towards what you guys are doing. We can't think that, you know, it's going to be one of them situations that we can't. We just got to do our thing, understand that we're playing our game, and that's all we can do. So all we can do is play our game and hope for the best. That's all we can do. But stopping Haaland, there is no game plan to stop Haaland. What you've got to do is limit the amount of touches he has, which he is doing right now at the minute. I can't lie to you. He's not really having many touches. And also limit the kind of passes and the crosses that are coming into him. And that's stopping another player, De Bruyne. So there is a lot of dynamics in this game. But I just hope that we've got a defence. We've got a defence that's been alert. We've only conceded 2 in the last 4. I believe. So we are conceding less goals than probably you lot, I think. I'm not going to lie, I think we conceded less goals than you lot. So our defence can manage probably better than yours. But then again, we are facing the Nordic midfield, isn't it? It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I still think the first 20 minutes are absolutely crucial for both teams. If we allow you to build confidence and build momentum and feel like you can keep us at bay for as long as possible, it will frustrate us. It will frustrate us, especially if we're playing at 50-60%. If we're not in full flow, that's something that will bother us, and it's bothered us in previous games. And something we touched on briefly last night on the Big Six was the midfield, because the midfield battle is absolutely crucial. You mentioned they're cutting off Haaland's supply, which would be ultimately Kevin De Bruyne, the main man. Do you think Ten Hag will go for a two sixes, if you like, or will he set up the press higher? What would you like to see?
If Rashford isn't available, then he will probably go with 2 up top. Sorry, no, he will go with a false line and then have 2 in the midfield. Yeah, I think he'll have Casemiro, McTominay, and then have Eriksen in the 10, and then have Bruno in the false 9. I genuinely think he could do that. I think he could get away with that, to be honest with you. I genuinely think he could get away with that. Because I feel like for me, it's about understanding the balance, and I'd rather pack that midfield out rather than kind of be like, you know what, let's be Clute and Kevin and put Sancho in front of Elanga on the left. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather pack the midfield, be stable in midfield, not get outnumbered in that midfield, stop the supply lines, stop Rodri from receiving the ball, and then work it like that, if you know what I mean. So that's what I would do personally. You know what I mean?
Do you think Ericsson? Do you think Ericsson and Fernandez have what I'm talking about in terms of pressing and getting in our faces? Because, like I said, it's the energetic midfields and players who go blow for blow with us, get in our faces, and put pressure on us in areas we're not used to. Tends to be the teams that have most success. Like, does Ericsson have that in his tank to press all game?
Yeah, Ericsson presses. He kept Odegaard out of the game. Odegaard didn't really conjure up any opportunities. I think he had that one chance, but that was about it. He runs a lot. He's actually run the most in this Man United team. So this idea that Eriksen's not mobile enough and he can't run and he's lost the yard of pace. And bro, this guy runs a lot, man. I don't know if you even see the France game where his intensity levels were unbelievable. So this guy could do a lot. He's been through a lot, obviously, as you know. But he looks like he just never knows when he's beaten. And that's what the beauty of Eriksen's done. He's coming in on the free transfers and impressed us. He had the first 2 shaky games, but I think since then has been very, very, value for money. I generally do. So,
yeah he's a player, Ericsson. He's a player.
Yeah, I'm happy, man.
He's the player that he's the kind of player that I feel you've been lacking for a long time. Maybe a maestro in midfield who can unlock those wingers that I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts. You're right, man. And I feel like for me, he's someone that I think he's come a long way in terms of understanding what we want as well. We've lacked that kind of midfielder. It's so refreshing to have a player who's intelligent. Even I think Scholes said it in the overlap, the 18-second when he said, who do you love in this Man United team? And he said Christian Eriksen, intelligence. That's all he said.
Yeah,
knowing what to do, intelligence. And for me, that is massive to hear because you just know that that's what he gives you, intelligence on the ball. So I love it. That's why my best player at United was Paul Scholes. I love Paul Scholes. Yeah. He was intelligent as a player. You know what I mean? And he knew what to do, pick passes, play midfield. And that's where, I kind of was playing in school. I played in that midfield role. And, you know what I mean? I just think Eriksen, and they're just a class, man. It's just unbelievable player. Yeah,
you can see why Paul Scholes likes Eriksen because he probably sees a lot of himself in Christian Eriksen.
Exactly.
He's one of those players that frustrates me. Paul Scholes, first of all, and Eriksen a little bit because they're not natural athletes. Neither of them are natural athletes. They just get by in the game because of their brain. You know what I mean? And that's what's like. How are these guys doing it? Like you see, our midfielders are athletes and beasts, and those two aren't like that. But listen. Eriksen's a man I feel could cause us a lot of problems this weekend. If our midfield's not on form, if our back four aren't in sync, it's Akanji's first big test. Do you think that's an area of the pitch you'll attack more if Akanji starts down our left?
Yeah, Akanji's it's an interesting one. You know what I mean? He did well at Dortmund, but I think there was a few years where he was a bit suspect, and I feel like he didn't really have a place in the team. I feel like for me, he works better in the back 3, but it has settled well in this back 2 system. I think it could be a welcome to the Premier League moment, though. It could be. I think you guys had that with the Debbie Kayles. I think the Stasic. Do you remember the Stasic? He had that a bad game at Old Trafford, I think it was, when we lost 4-1, I think it was. When Fellaini scored a couple. I think that game as well was a bad game for the Stasic. I think it's one of them, there's always one player who has a horror in a derby. You know what I mean? You could go back to so many players. Gary Neville in Main Road. Who else is out there? Obviously we had Johnny Evans. You guys, there's certain players that, they have a bad game. Sammy Nasri put his foot out and then everything gets man. It's that one game and it goes for both teams. Like last season we had Rashford Lingard just thrown around us, not doing anything and not pressing. There's always that one player, and it could be Akanji, and that could be the weak link. But at the same time, I'm not underestimating the fact that he could be one of the strongest players because he's on form, because he's playing well. All it takes is that one moment where he thinks he knows a lot and he thinks he's overconfident, and then it just absolutely does you over. So Akanji is a weak point. I think even Kyle Walker at right back if he plays. I don't know if he's available. Is he available? Yeah.
This is the thing. He's annoyed me, Kyle Walker, recently because he was completely unavailable for us for about 2 weeks leading up to the international break. I thought he was fully unfit, and then he turns up and plays for fucking England. Gareth Southgate picks him, and I was like, "What's going on here? He better be fresh, and if he plays for us on Sunday, he better play the game of his life." So I assume he's only semi-fit because he's played fuck all football. You know, like it's a frustrating one.
Yeah, it is, man, and that's the thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? So. It's just one of those situations where I just feel like it's just mad. It's just mad.
But listen,
yeah.
Yeah, finish what you're going to say. I was going to move into the next thing after. What were you going to say?
No, it's just one of them where I think Kyle Walker now, maybe his legs are going now in terms of he's played a lot of football since he was like at Tottenham, you know?
Yeah, I also think I also don't like the tweaks Pep has made to his game, making him invert and do more running than he should be doing at his age. Like getting up and down the line the way he used to is not something I want to see in Kyle Walker's game. I actually preferred when we moved to a back three. It was one of the games that I think we might have drawn or else scraped a win. I can't remember which one it was. He was making Walker invert and Cancelo invert, and I was leaving us completely exposed in the wings, which is where I fear Sancho and maybe Anthony, like I said, could be a wild card, could cause problems. But I just want Kyle Walker to stay back and do his defensive duties. But listen, we've only got about 10, 15 minutes left of the stream because Saeed has to shoot off to yet another preview. He's a guy in high demand, but
man. They demanded me, man. They said, yo, 10 p.m. you must be there. So yeah, man, it's all good, man. Let's get this combined 11 then. Let's get in there.
Yeah, listen, people in the chat, before we get into the combined 11, bit of housekeeping as always. If you would, please smash the like button. It massively, massively helps the streams. We can get on these great guests. The more love you show, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 4K, and just hit the like button. It's free to do. It helps us, and it helps us do bigger and better things. And of course, check out Saeed's channel if you haven't done so already. I know a lot of you guys have come from the Big Six. If you haven't done so by any chance, check out his channel. He's got a sick preview with the man himself, Big Steve, dropping tomorrow. Kind of overlap style there, Gary Neville show.
Yeah.
It's too sick, man. If you want to see any preview, check that one out, man. It's going to be sick. But listen, all of you as well in the chat, any thoughts on the combined 11, leave them in the chat. I'll have a look at them. If there's any debates that we can't, we'll go through it quicker than usual. We won't go too long on each position, and we'll try to come to an agreement. But all of you get involved in the chat. Let us know your thoughts on each position and who fits in where, because it's been a controversial topic all week, the combined 11. But listen, in goals, it's De Gea or it's Ederson. Where do you kind of sit in that one?
Are we doing based on form, by the way?
We'll do it. Yeah, we'll try to be as fair as possible and say based literally on the first 7 games this season.
Okay. Let's put Ederson in there. I don't think it's been amazing. That's why I would have put De Gea, but I think overall Ederson much more solid in what he does. I think De Gea though, apart for the first, but I think the first 2 games Ederson hasn't had. So I'm gonna base it on that one. But yeah, Ederson in goal. Put Ederson in goal.
I would go with Ederson in goal. I am going with Ederson in goal. I agree with you, but I will say I think De Gea when he's at his best and prime De Gea back in the day when he was doing his best, I believe he was a better shot stopper than Ederson. That's something I think Ederson lacks a little bit.
You're right.
But based on form, I think Joe's sticking Ederson there, right, or in goalkeeper. We're gonna do a 4-3-3. I think that's the best formation to go with. You guys can see it on screen there. Joe's producing the show. He's gonna fill it in as we go along. We'll move him to right back. I'm gonna go with Kyle Walker when he's on full form. I believe he's the man who slots in. Who would you go with?
I'm gonna go with Dalot. I think Dalot's had an excellent season so far. I don't think Kyle Walker's been great, man. I think Crystal Palace game wasn't great. I think Newcastle game wasn't great. He's not been the same, man. I think this season he hasn't been the Kyle Walker that we know. It's that again we talked about his age and him maybe running out of tank, but I think Dalot's been immense. For me personally, I put Dalot ahead of him. He's been great on form. Yes, last season wasn't great for him, but this season he's been immense. I think we should put Dalot in there.
On any other occasion, I would be saying absolutely not because Kyle Walker has been the man for us at right back, and I would listen. I said we're going to base it off the first 7 games, and Cancelo hasn't played right back. I would say if we were being a bit more, choppy and change, I'd say possibly put Cancelo in right back. Then you could look at the left back position, have a different conversation there. But Kyle Walker, he's been injured and he's not played great. So you know what, the Blues might slam me for this because of the nostalgia for Kyle Walker, how much we love him. And if we're going overall, career so far and general performances for years now, I would definitely go Kyle Walker. But in terms of right back right now this season, I can't back Kyle Walker. I think like I said a few minutes ago, the tweaks to his game that Pep has made, it doesn't suit him. So I'm going to allow on this occasion Dalot. We're going to right centre back. It has to be Ruben Diaz.
I can't lie to you, man. I think the 2 United players should go in there.
Oh, sorry, don't start this, man. You're a fair guy. You're a fair guy. Ruben Diaz is it, man. He's been the only rock in our back four this season so far.
All right, Ruben Diaz, and for me, Lisandro Martinez.
So no, you wouldn't have maybe a Diaz Varane?
No, I think Lisandro Martinez has probably performed overall better than Varane. That's why, for me, on form. But then again, you're putting it at the head of the season. This Diaz has conceded how many goals in the season?
He's playing with it, like chopping and changing back forward.
Yeah, but
players. At least you found the back four that's working.
2 goals in 4 games. Varane's got to be in there. I'm sorry, but like I said,
you're not having both centre backs. You're just not having both centre backs.
It should be this. This is the combined 11. I think it should be both. But let's be fair. Let's have one each then.
Yeah. Okay. And then so Varane and Diaz. I think that's a pretty fucking good. Center
No, Martinez and Diaz.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, would you put Martinez over Varane? Even though you've only seen Martinez for about a month, really.
I think I would put Martinez. He's been immense for United this season. Yeah.
All right. That's his call. He said Martinez. He's going Martinez. In left back, it's Cancelo.
Yeah, Cancelo. Yeah. Clear. You know what I mean? I think it's just Malassi's had a good season, but I think Cancelo's been excellent.
Yeah. There's no conversation there. He's been one of our most creative players this season. Big up Cancelo. In the number 6, it's Casemiro, McTominay, Rodri, Fred.
For me, because Rodri's a clear 6 and he's played well as well. I think Casemiro, we might talk about that next derby. I think the next derby is in January, isn't it? Is it in March or January, the next derby?
I think it's like the 10th of January or something.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, I wanted a summer derby, man, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Rodri could go in the 6. I put Rodri. Rodri in the 6. I think he's just he never plays bad. It's just crazy about him. It's a bit like Michael Carrick. He never had bad games, Michael Carrick. That's the same with Rodri. Yeah,
Rodri's been one of our most consistent players for the best part of 18 months now. And I agree with you. If Casemiro gets into the team and he starts performing consistently, we could be having a conversation where you say, is it Rodri or is it Casemiro? But I think it's Rodri.
Yeah, you're right.
Into the attacking midfield areas, one of them has to be De Bruyne. The first one, De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
He's top assist in the league right now.
Yeah, listen, clear, man. Clear. You know what I mean? What he's doing is absolutely crazy. Yeah, De Bruyne, that one. But for me, I think the left one has to be, what's his name? Eriksen. Yeah. Played well this season, man. It's been so pivotal to what we do and what we kind of, our play. You have to watch it for the eye test. Again, the stats will deceive you. Similar to players like, Bernardo Silva. Doesn't really get much stats and whatnot, but he's always ever present. But for me, Eriksen, man, telling you.
Oh, I feel very bad on Bernardo, but I don't want this combined 11 to be really just me going, our players have been better for a long time or for a longer time than your players.
You have to put on the 7 games.
Yeah, like I said at the start of this combined 11, I'll be as fair and objective as possible. And what Eriksen has brought to your team this season is massive in comparison to what was there beforehand. So I feel bad because I love Gundo and I love Bernardo, but they probably haven't had the impact on our team that Eriksen has had for Man United so far this season. That's as fair as I can do. Even though if I was the manager right now, I would still pick 1 or 2 of my players. But for this combined 11, I think Eriksen, De Bruyne. We'll start on the left wing. I'm going to go ahead and put Phil Foden, even though I prefer him on the right. But based on longevity, I'd say Phil Foden on the left.
I think, you know what? Put him on the right, and then I put Rashford on the left. Even though I wanted to put Sancho, but Rashford's had a probably overall better season in terms of apparently he's going to be player of the month as well. Rashford. I don't know if you've seen it, but he's going to be player of the month for Premier League.
Really? Yeah.
But I think FIFA leaked it. I don't know if you've seen it. FIFA have leaked it. Apparently, it's on FIFA that he's the player of the month. So apparently they've leaked already. So Rashford, I will put Rashford on the left. And then
ahead of, sorry, I'm just processing that. He's getting it ahead of Haaland, who's on a left.
No. Rashford on the left.
No, player of the month. Player of the month. Yeah, no, I get that.
I would put Rashford on the left, Foden on the right, and then Haaland for the middle. That's what I would do my front 3.
I think Foden has been the only consistent winger for us this season. Mahrez has been, if I'm being fully honest, he's been absolutely dog shit. Grealish hasn't done enough yet. He was great against Wolves, but that's not enough to warrant it for me. If I was to be a bit different with it. I would have possibly gone with Bernardo on the right. Just if I was the manager picking it for a game, but based, like I keep saying, people, this is based, like, Blues, please don't slate me for allowing these players to come in. This is based purely on the first 7 games we've seen this season. It's not based on overall and what we know they can do. And I've kind of allowed side the players that have performed for Man United this season. So Rashford on the left, Haaland through the middle, and Foden on the right. I think that's overall a pretty good team. We will get that, framed up, and we'll put it up on our socials. You guys can have your say in the comment section on Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of thing. And listen, Said, I know you've not got long left, but really quickly before we head off, score predictions, obviously. What are you saying?
2-2. Desmond. It's going to be a high-scoring draw. And yeah, man, may the best team win. I think it's going to be cracking. I think it's going to be electric. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the game unless I get a miracle ticket in the next few days, which is not going to happen. But Hugh, man, it's going to be a good one. Enjoy it. And man, I think it's going to be a crazy draw, man. What are you thinking?
I'm back on my team. I think, like I said, with the issues at the back, I wouldn't be surprised if we concede. I just trust Haaland, and I trust our creative players to do it, man. To do it, I'm gonna go with a 3-1. And listen, people, before we finish the show, I just want to say a massive thank you to Said for coming on. He's a busy guy. He squeezed us in here for half an hour. He didn't have to do that, so please go and show him some love. Like I said, he's got a sick preview coming out with Steve tomorrow. You don't want to miss that at the Etihad. Proper preview. It's the real deal. Go and check that out. And we will be doing another longer preview from a more City perspective. We got Syed to come on and talk about it from United perspective on Saturday. So we will see you on Saturday. On your way out, if you would, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it around, show a friend, and we'll see you on Saturday. Good night, and God bless, people.
Peace.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand.